the actor and comedian Steve Harvey is only the latest voice to make a public protest against political correctness, against cancel culture, against sort of woke tyranny. Basically, Steve Harvey says he's not going to be doing touring anymore. He's not going to go on tour, and for a simple reason. He says, if I go on tour, we're living in an era where you cannot make jokes. I'm quoting him now. We're in the cancel culture now. Think of it. We're in the cancel culture now. The cancel culture has taken over. He goes, nobody can say anything he wants to. Chris Rock can't. Kevin Hart can't. Cedric the Entertainer can't. D.L. Hughley can't. I can go down the list. He goes, the only person that can say what they want to say on stage is Dave Chappelle. So Steve Harvey now says, listen, he has a scripted comedy show that is called Judge Steve Harvey. Well, it's not scripted. He's going to kind of do what Judge Judy does. He's kind of going to bring this kind of commonsensical style to bear upon conflicts. But Steve Harvey's like, that show itself would be in jeopardy if I tried to do stand-up. So he's out of there. And think of how bad this is for America. I mean, Debbie and I were, along with Danielle, my daughter, and husband Brandon, we were watching Johnny Carson. In fact, I was watching the old interview going back, I think, to 1972, when Johnny was interviewing Bobby Fischer, who had just won the world chess title. And Fischer's a difficult guy to interview because he's awkward. Sometimes he doesn't say anything. He just kind of gurgles. But I just was marveling at the way that Carson handled him. And Carson was just the quintessential comedian, wonderful not only in the delivery of the monologue, but just fantastic spontaneously. And I thought back to all the comedians of that era. And, not all of them are my cup of tea, but nevertheless, there was quite a variety. Remember Steve Martin, remember Don Rickles, Joan Rivers, George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Chris Rock. And I'm thinking to myself, how many of those guys could even survive in today's environment? I don't think Richard Pryor could. George Carlin, forget it. Don Rickles would be out of there. So we now have these, I would call them fake comedians. They're unfunny, and they make these sort of sarcasm is the best they can achieve, and it's always sarcasm in the service of woke tyranny. So there's a kind of almost oppressive unfunniness to it. I'm thinking of such frauds as Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, the other Jimmy Fallon. I mean, I don't know which one is worse. John Oliver, who's basically superciliousness substitutes for comedy. Trevor Noah, who's basically a walking playing of the race card. So this is what we've got now. I mean, it's just comedy has just fallen through the cracks. And it's almost like we now have the ugly stepchildren of the original comedians. I think the message here is that if you want to relax again, if you want to laugh again, we're just going to have to get rid of political correctness, get rid of cancel culture, shut down woke tyranny.